The first thing you notice is the light. It bleeds through your curtains in waves of red and blue, washing over your living room wall like a silent alarm you never set. Then comes the sound. Not a polite chime, not a doorbell ring from a delivery driver who already scanned your package and left. This is different. This is the heavy, deliberate knock of someone who wants you to know they are not going away. Boom, boom, boom. 3 strikes, perfectly spaced. Your heart jumps into your throat before your brain even catches up. You glance at the clock on your microwave. It's 11:47 p.m. You weren't doing anything wrong. You were half asleep on the couch, scrolling your phone, maybe watching a video, thinking about brushing your teeth and calling it a night. And now there are silhouettes behind your front door. 2 of them, maybe 3. The flashlights sweep across your porch window. Then you hear it, a voice sharp and clear, cutting through the glass like a blade. Police department, open the door. You feel your mouth go dry. Your dog starts barking. Your partner, if you have one, looks at you from the hallway with wide, confused eyes. And in that split second, before you say a single word, before you reach for the deadbolt, you have already made the most important decision of your entire night. You just don't know it yet. Has this ever happened to you? Have police ever shown up at your home unexpectedly, late at night, early morning, middle of the afternoon, knocking hard, asking questions, trying to step inside, pressuring you to talk, separating you from your family, or making you feel like if you don't cooperate immediately, something terrible will happen? I want you to pause right here and think. If it has happened, you already know that feeling in your chest, that strange, surreal mix of fear and confusion, and the desperate urge to just be helpful so they'll go away. Drop your story in the comments. Tell me what happened. What did they say? What did you say? And most importantly, did you let them in? Because here is the truth most people don't understand until it's too late. The conversation that happens at your front door is a battlefield. And the weapons aren't guns. They're words, silence, body language, pressure. And the single most dangerous thing you can do is assume that because you haven't done anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. That assumption has destroyed lives. I'm going to show you why, and I'm going to tell you about a simple email setting change that sounds completely unrelated to police encounters, but might be the smartest digital barrier you ever create. By the time you finish reading, you're going to understand exactly why cops want to get past your threshold, what they're looking for before they even knock, and how a tiny adjustment in your inbox could keep you out of situations you never imagined. Let me paint you a picture that happens somewhere in America every single night. You open the door. Not all the way, just a crack. The chain is on. The cold air rushes in. And there they are, 2 officers, one with his hand resting casually on his belt, the other holding a small notebook. The first one smiles. It's a professional smile, friendly, reassuring. He says, "Evening, sir. Sorry to bother you so late. We're investigating a report in the neighborhood. Just a few quick questions. Do you mind if we step inside for a second? It's freezing out here." That last part is a masterpiece of psychological manipulation. He didn't demand entry. He didn't threaten you. He asked. And he gave you a perfectly reasonable human excuse. It's cold. Who wants to stand in the cold? You're a decent person. You don't want to be rude. You don't want to seem like you're hiding something. So you hesitate. And in that hesitation, the officer sees everything he needs to see. He watches your eyes flick left, toward the hallway. He notices you glance over your shoulder. He hears your voice crack slightly when you say, what's this about? That single moment, the crack in your voice, the glance behind you, the pause before answering, is not evidence of a crime. But to a trained officer, it is information. It is a data point. And if you let them inside, that data point becomes permission. Because the second you say, "Yeah, sure, come in," you have just handed them something more valuable than a warrant. You have given them consent. And consent is the golden key that unlocks every single Fourth Amendment protection you thought you had. Most people believe police cannot enter your home without a warrant. That is true, mostly. But there are exceptions, and the biggest exception by a massive margin is voluntary consent. If you let them in, they are legally inside. Anything they see in plain view, a pipe on the coffee table, a baggie on the kitchen counter, a laptop screen with something questionable open, is now admissible evidence. You cannot unconsent after they've already seen it. You cannot argue that you felt pressured because the Supreme Court has repeatedly held that consent given under mere questioning or casual conversation is valid unless you explicitly refused or were physically coerced. And here's the part that will make your stomach turn. Officers are trained to create exactly this scenario. They are trained to ask in a way that makes refusal feel rude, suspicious, or dangerous. They are trained to use silence, repetition, and tone to wear you down. They are trained to separate family members, ask the same question 6 different ways, and wait for someone to crack. Let me give you a real example, not a hypothetical. This happens. A woman is home alone with her teenage son. It's a Tuesday afternoon. No lights on her street, no reason to expect anyone. The knock comes. She looks through the peephole. 2 officers, no squad car visible. They park down the block, standard tactic. She opens the door because she assumes something bad happened to a neighbor. The officer asks if he can come in and talk about a noise complaint. She says, "What noise?" He says, "Just a complaint about loud music. We want to clear it up. Can we step in for 2 minutes?" She lets them in. They walk past her, and within 30 seconds, one of them notices a marijuana grinder on the end table. Then he notices a small digital scale next to it. Then he smells something faint but unmistakable. Within 5 minutes, her son is being questioned in the kitchen while she's being questioned in the living room. They are not free to leave. The officers find a bag of psilocybin mushrooms in the son's jacket pocket. The son is arrested. The mother is never charged, but she spends the next 18 months and $40,000 on lawyers trying to keep her house from being seized in asset forfeiture proceedings. All because she said yes to, "Can we step in for 2 minutes?" That is not an outlier. That is a Tuesday. And here is the cold, uncomfortable reality that no one wants to say out loud. Police are not stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. When an officer knocks on your door without a warrant, it's not because they forgot to get one. It's because they couldn't get one. They didn't have probable cause. No judge signed off. No evidence existed yet. So they come to you instead. They come to your door because they know that most people, decent, honest, law-abiding people, will open it. They know that most people will answer questions. They know that most people are terrified of appearing uncooperative. And they know that if they can just get 1 foot inside your doorway, the game changes completely. This is why I want you to think about your email settings. I know that sounds like a non sequitur. Stick with me. You have accounts. Everyone does. Banking, social media, cloud storage, work emails, personal correspondence, private conversations with your doctor, your lawyer, your therapist. Most of this data is protected by warrants. But here is the loophole that will keep you up tonight. If police are already lawfully inside your home, either because you let them in or because they have a warrant, they can often demand access to unlocked devices. Phones, tablets, laptops that are open and active. And if you have your email auto-logged in on a device they can see, they can start scrolling through your inbox without a separate warrant. This is not speculation. This is case law. The plain view doctrine applies to digital screens just as much as it applies to physical objects. If an officer is standing in your living room and sees an open laptop with your Gmail already loaded, and they see an email subject line that raises suspicion, they can argue that they have the right to read it. Some courts have agreed. Others have not. But here's what matters. You do not want to be the test case. You do not want to be standing in your own kitchen, handcuffed, watching an officer scroll through 5 years of your personal emails while your lawyer is still trying to get out of bed. So here is the change. Right now, today, go into your email settings, Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo, whatever you use, and turn off Keep Me Signed In. Turn off Remember This Device. Turn off auto login on your home computer, your tablet, your phone, everything. Make it so that every single time you want to check your email, you have to type your password. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it adds 10 seconds to your day. Yes, you will curse my name the first 5 times you have to do it. But here's what that small inconvenience buys you: time, silence, protection. If police are ever inside your home and they look at your laptop and your email is locked, they cannot simply click and browse. They need a warrant specifically for that account. And warrants take time. Time for you to call a lawyer. Time for you to remember your rights. Time for the situation to de-escalate. Time is the only thing that works in your favor once they are through your door. But let me be even more direct. The real power move is to stop relying on email for anything you wouldn't want read aloud in a courtroom. I don't care how innocent you are. Innocent people get caught in investigations all the time. They get subpoenaed. Their accounts get swept up in federal inquiries. Their names appear in someone else's contact list. You cannot control what other people email you. You can only control how accessible that information is when someone comes knocking. And make no mistake, they will knock. Maybe not tonight, maybe not this year. But if you live in America, if you have neighbors, if you have a house, if you exist online, there is a non-zero chance that police will eventually appear at your door. It might be a mistake. It might be a mix-up with an address. It might be a report from a paranoid neighbor who thought they heard screaming when you were just watching a horror movie too loud. It might be a domestic violence call at the house next door and they're checking all nearby residences. It could be literally anything. And when that moment comes, you will not be prepared unless you prepare now. Let me walk you through what actual preparation looks like, because most people get this completely wrong. First, you need to understand the knock. There are different kinds. A soft, spaced-out knock, 3 or 4 raps, then silence, is often a welfare check or a canvas. An aggressive, insistent, rapid knock, bang, 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 is usually someone who wants you to open the door before you have time to think. Sometimes they will announce themselves immediately. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll say nothing. Silence outside your door is its own form of pressure. It forces you to be the one who speaks first. Second, you need to know what you will say before you open your mouth. And here is the single most important phrase you will ever learn. I do not consent to any searches. I am exercising my right to remain silent. I want to speak with an attorney. You do not need to shout it. You do not need to say it aggressively. You say it calmly, clearly, and then you stop talking. Do not explain. Do not justify. Do not say, because I'm not hiding anything, or I just think it's weird you're here, or any other phrase that weakens your position. Silence after asserting your rights is the most powerful weapon you have. Officers are trained to fill silence with speech. Let them. Every word they say is a word you do not have to say. Third, understand that officers will try to separate you from anyone else in the house. This is a deliberate tactic. They will ask your partner to step into the kitchen. They will ask your teenager to wait in the hallway. They will ask to speak with you alone. You have the right to refuse. You have the absolute, non-negotiable right to say, I am not comfortable being separated. Anything you want to say to me, you can say in front of my family. If they persist, that is information. That tells you exactly how badly they want to create confusion, get inconsistent statements, or pressure someone who seems weaker. Fourth, and this one hurts to say, do not assume that police are lying when they tell you something is urgent. Sometimes they are. Sometimes there really is a missing child. Sometimes a neighbor really did report a break-in and your house matches the description. Sometimes a family member called in a wellness check because you didn't answer your phone for 12 hours. You have to balance your rights with reality. But here is the line you never cross. Urgency is not permission. A police officer's sense of urgency does not override your constitutional protections. If they truly have an emergency, someone in danger, an active threat, a life at stake, they do not need your consent. They can enter under the emergency aid exception. That's fine. Let them. But if they are standing at your door asking, they do not have emergency authority. They have request authority, and you are allowed to say no. I want to circle back to that email setting one more time, because people underestimate how much of modern life is stored in plain text. Your entire social world lives in your inbox. Your receipts, your flight confirmations, your medical appointment reminders, your messages from friends who confide in you, your arguments, your secrets that aren't really secrets but would be embarrassing if read aloud. Police know this. They know that once they have your email, they have a map of your life. They know that people write things in emails they would never say out loud. They know that even innocent emails can be twisted, misinterpreted, or used to establish patterns of behavior that look suspicious when removed from context. Do not make it easy for them. Do not leave your front door unlocked, and do not leave your digital front door unlocked either. Turn off auto login. Use a password manager if you have to. Set your devices to lock after 30 seconds of inactivity. Log out of sensitive accounts when you're not using them. And for the love of everything, do not use Remember This Device on shared computers or laptops that stay in common areas of your home. That laptop on your coffee table is not secure. That tablet on your nightstand is not secure. That old phone in your kitchen drawer that you use for recipes is not secure. Police can and will look at screens that are on and accessible. They do not need a warrant for something that is literally in plain view. Let me tell you another real scenario. This one is from a defense attorney I spoke with a few years ago. His client was a small-time cannabis grower in a state where it was still fully illegal. 4 plants in a spare bedroom, kept to himself, no sales, no visitors. One night, police knocked because a burglar alarm went off at the house across the street. Standard response. Officers checked the perimeter, saw nothing, and were about to leave when one of them noticed a glow through the side window of the client's house, the blue light of a computer monitor. The officer walked up, peered in, and saw an open email on the screen. The subject line read, "Your order is ready. Harvest next week." The officer called for backup. They knocked. The client opened the door. They asked if they could come in and just check on the alarm situation. He said yes. They walked past him, saw the grow lights through a cracked bedroom door, and that was the end of his freedom. 3 years in federal prison for 4 plants because of an open email and a single word, yes. If that laptop had been locked, if that email had required a password, if that screen had gone dark after 30 seconds of inactivity, the officer peering through the window would have seen nothing but a black rectangle. No subject line, no probable cause, no knock, no consent, no prison. This is not paranoia. This is pattern recognition. I want you to imagine yourself in that moment again. The knock comes, the lights flash, the voices call out. You walk to the door, your hand hovers over the deadbolt. Everything in your body is telling you to just get it over with, to open up, to explain, to cooperate, to prove that you're one of the good ones. But here is what I need you to remember. Good people go to jail every single day. Not because they are guilty, because they talked, because they consented, because they thought the rules didn't apply to them, because they assumed that innocence is a shield. It is not. Silence is a shield. A locked door is a shield. A password is a shield. Refusal is a shield. You are not being rude when you protect your rights. You are being smart. You are being American. You are being exactly what the Fourth Amendment was written to protect. And if that makes an officer's job harder, good. Their job is supposed to be hard. That is the entire point. We do not live in a society where police can walk into any home they choose. We live in a society where they need a reason, a warrant, or your permission. Do not give them the last one. Change your email settings tonight. Then practice saying the words you hope you never have to use. I do not consent. I am remaining silent. I want an attorney. Say them out loud right now. Feel how strange they feel on your tongue. That discomfort is the cost of freedom. Pay it. And when you hear that knock, and one day, statistically, you will not freeze. You will not babble. You will not let them pass your threshold. You will look through the peephole. You will take a breath. And you will remember that the most dangerous word you can ever say to a police officer standing at your door is not a curse. It is not a lie. It is 2 simple letters that unlock your entire life. Y-E-S. Yes. Don't say it.